Hey, my name is Ashley, and I'm sure you can tell by the title that we are talking about a moment of suddenly today where the Lord suddenly blessed me with a car, a 2026 Buick Encore ST. I'm so grateful for it, and I hope that my testimony helps encourages you in this season. So, if this word resonates with you, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it. Girl, when I say I was not expecting this, I was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting it right now anyway. And I wasn't expecting this car. I wasn't expecting this color. I wasn't expecting such a time as this. So I was expecting a new car, but I just wasn't expecting it to happen this way. And honestly, I just wasn't expecting none of this. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. I've always driven older cars as long as I can remember. Ever since I got my first car back in 2018, I think it was. It was a 99 or 98 Honda Accord. It had a system in it. It was booming. It was my first car. It's what really helped me catapult to the next level after I had my son. And I love that car. Shout out to my granddaddy because he got it for me. He surprised me with it. And I'm just so grateful because I love that car. And it really held me down. Um, but would have been an older car. I had a lot of problems, and eventually ended up not having a car. So I spent a few seasons of my life with no car at all, and I've had friends who have helped me get from point A to point B. It's been such a blessing to even have that. Even before I got my first car, I had friends who helped me get around, and then even after that car gave up on me, I've had family members who have let me drive their cars. And it's been a blessing. I still been able to get around no matter what. And that's kind of been my story. And so I went a couple years without my own car. I was hopping around from relatives' cars. They were all older cars. Grateful regardless, just to be able to get around. And then I ended up getting, well, after my other granddad passed away, and so stay with me, y'all, because I promise this story is getting somewhere. I'm just giving y'all the background about the cars and what led to this. Um, my other granddaddy passed away at the end of 2022, and I took his car, which was again another old car, 1999 Lincoln Continental, and it had issues from the gate, but I was just grateful to get around once again. So drove that, and it held me down. It actually moved me from my hometown to where I am now, 3 hours away. I was able to pack it up and move and drive it, and I drove it good for a couple years, and it recently gave up on me like last year after having problem after problem. And I mean like the type of problems that you would be crying and shaking while driving. Like it was a very traumatic experience driving that car. It used to cut off on me in the middle of the street. It started running hot after a while. It just was like I would have to literally drive that car maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes max. And then wherever I parked it, I would have to stay there because it would literally not cut back on for another hour and a half. So I would have to make something out of whatever trip I went on, even if it was just to the store. I would have to make sure I'm going somewhere where it's a walkable place where I can walk around and browse because that's how my car was set up. I had to literally schedule my days around it. And that was my life for at least the last good year of driving that car. And if we back up just a little bit to 2024. So 2024 was my first time experiencing my first real vision. I was in my room and the Lord gave me a vision. Before he gave me the vision, I was actually listening to some other type of music, and then I felt like I needed to turn on Hezekiah Walker Grateful. So I turned it on, and I'm just vibing, standing in the mirror, singing it, and out of nowhere, the Lord put a vision in front of my eyes. Never experienced this in my life, and I don't think I've experienced it since then. But the vision was of me in a car showroom. I was in a showroom and I was like standing behind this SUV, and it was obvious that I had just gotten this new car. And so I instantly fell to my knees crying, praising God, and thanking Him for the new car. And if you would have told me then that it would have happened the way it did now, I probably wouldn't have believed you because I was at the height of my success in my business. I was rolling in money and my car then wasn't having any problems. So if I was to get a new car, it would have been more of like I'm just getting a new car because I'm driving this old car and it's time to get a new one. It's time to upgrade my life, blah, blah, blah. But no, that is not how the Lord laid it out for me. So um, that was 2024 when I had that vision. 2025 was when my car really started giving me problems. And the Lord blessed me with a mechanic who helped me through that season. Um, so I went to the hair store one day in that car, in my old car, and the car literally cut off and would not cut back on. And it was middle of the summer. I was so hot. I found a mobile mechanic on Google, and I hit him up, and he came and he pulled up and he helped me. And he was a man of God. Shout out to him. Shout out to Will because Will was a great man of God as well. And he literally helped me so much when it came to getting my car repaired because at that time business had completely took a shift. It wasn't as busy as it used to be. Um, also, the job that I had to get, I was down to like working one day a week there. So it was a real financial struggle during that season. And I knew I didn't have the money to pay him like that. But he came through and he helped me and he helped me and he helped me until he couldn't help me anymore. And he was like, I can't. I just cannot. Because it got to the point where my power steering, we replaced the Cadillac converters. We was about to replace the fuel pump. Like there were so many different factors and things that we were about to replace in that car or that we did replace and tried to keep it rolling and it just kept producing different problems to the point where the mechanic was like, I'm sorry, I can't keep doing this. Which is understandable. If it felt very defeating in the moment, but it was also understandable at the same time. And so the last problem that I had with with my last car was my power steering pump going out. And ever since then, I haven't been able to really drive it. So when my power steering pump was going out, it would drive for a little while, but I would have to fill it up with power steering fluid every morning, and it would run out so quick. The car would be smoking under the hood. The steering wheel would lock up very dangerously as I'm driving. I could not do it. I was so tired. I got to the point where I was so tired of crying, shaking, and praying every time I got in that car that I just left it alone. Once the mechanic left it alone, I left it alone too because I'm like, I can't live like this. It was such a traumatic time. And so, um, that was the last time I drove that car was about October of 2025. And so I do remember in March, if we go back a few months earlier of 2025, the Lord blessed me with the opportunity to drive a rental car for my birthday to go to Florida. And so I remember in my mind talking to the Lord then, like, God, if I could just have the opportunity to drive different rental cars to just see what kind of car I want. Like I love the feeling of being able to drive a car without having to worry about is it gonna stop on me? Is it gonna give up? Whatever. Basically the Lord answered that prayer about 6 months later, after going through all those car troubles. He answered that prayer because I was able to get a rental car for Thanksgiving to go back home to visit my family. And he allowed me to stay in a rental car for about 2 months. So for those 2 months, I was switching from car to car, just seeing what I really liked. And I'm really grateful to be able to do that because, for one, not only am I getting around, but I'm also being able to see what it is that I want in a car. What do I actually value? Because if you remember, I've never driven a new car. I've never had a new car on my own. I've always driven older cars. So I don't really know what to look for when it comes to like, what do you want in a car? So that really helped expand my mind and also get me used to like, okay, there's a new thing happening here. For me to be able to do this, surely I would be able to get a car soon. If I can afford a rental car, I can afford a car note because rental cars are expensive. And I'm not doing that again because I was spending rent money on a rental car what I would be spending in a month's worth of rent, I was spending in a week of driving a rental car. It was ridiculous, but the Lord sustained me, and He gave me grace through that. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Once that season ended, because it was just way too expensive, I took the car back to the rental car place, and I was back without a car. So I have been Ubering, and I think that season ended in like early January. Yeah, like mid January. So from mid to late November to mid January is when I had those rental cars. After that, from January up until July of this year, I didn't have a car. So I'm catching rides with friends. Thank God for the friends that He blessed me with. The Lord blessed me with a friend in December that I wouldn't have even known would have helped me to the capacity that she did. Shout out to my girl Charity, because one call, that's all. She would pull up and help me get to where I need to go. Anything, she was there for me, and I'm just so grateful that the Lord blessed me with friends like that. She's not the only friend. I have other friends as well who the Lord put in my life to help me get to where I need to go. And honestly, a lot of the times we would just be hanging out. It would just be like, a girl, let's go to the store, let's do this, da 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 da. And it was a blessing. Outside of that, I was Ubering a lot too. So I would catch Uber rides to where I need to go. If I need to go somewhere real quick, run to the bank real quick, whatever. Um, and of course, I missed having a car. Of course, I truly, truly, genuinely wanted a car. And there were plenty of days where I was laying in the bed crying and sad and sitting in this house gaining weight because I didn't have the money to not do that. I didn't have the money to have a car to get out and do what I wanted to do and have a normal routine. So it was a lot of dark days. It was a lot of days. These curtains right here were closed, and I was in that bed crying, laying down, and just ready for a new season. Frustrated with where life was. And that went on for January, February, March, April, May, June, and really most of July. So we can count that as 7 months because I got the car at the end of July. Um, so that brings us to present day. Um, in May, if we rewind one more time, in May I went to a trip to New Orleans with my friend, and fortunately there was something that happened with her health while we were there that caused her to have to be there for an extended period of time to receive treatment. And the Lord brought her through it. Her testimony is beautiful as well. And I'm just so grateful that it happened the way that it happened. However, I wanted to see her so bad. After not being able to be there with her, I wanted to see her so bad. And I remember telling one of my sisters in Christ, like, I really want to go back to New Orleans and visit her. And we were talking about it, and I was like, I just don't have a car. Like, I stay way closer to New Orleans. It's like an hour, maybe an hour and 15. It's not far. And so I'm just like, I really want to go back and see her, but I don't have a car. And I remember in that conversation, my friend was like, I believe you're going to have a car by August. And I was like, I received that. Okay. I'm going to have a car by August. Cool. And so even though she said that, it was still kind of hard to wrap my head around because I knew my financial situation. I hadn't worked at the job that I was previously at in like months at that point. So I'm just like, I mean, this is a time to have crazy faith. The Lord has been doing miraculous things in my life where people have been helping me miraculously. So it's not a far-fetched thing to believe. But at the same time, I still felt defeated because I saw my current circumstances at that time. And so I was like, okay, whatever. A few weeks later, I talked to my dad, and his birthday is in August. And I remember, though, we weren't even talking about that. We were talking about how I need a car. I was like, I really want a car. Once I get a car, I'm gonna hit the ground running. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And my dad was like, I feel like August gonna be a good month. And I was like, okay, so there's two. There's two people who have said something about August. I'm like, okay, Me too. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what August has to bring. And still in the same situation though, still not seeing much of a shift or a change. Real quick, y'all, I forgot to tell y'all one other part of the testimony that there's a prophet that used to come in my old job. I met him through my old job. And he literally told me the prophet was just recently blessed with his own church, his own ministry, a new car, everything. And he literally told me that he invited me to his church service, and I was like, I would love to come one Sunday when I get a car, I'll be able to. And he was like, I feel led to tell you that we had a woman come in to a church service, and she was believing for a car. At the stop sign. So they touched and believed that she would get a car, and 3 days later she was blessed with a car. He was like, I feel led to tell you that because I believe that you need to pick out the car that you want. And so the car that I really wanted was my dream car, which was an Audi Q8. So I was looking at them. I looked at them either that day or like that night or the next day. I looked at it. I got discouraged because I remembered when I had just applied to get a car around Christmas and I got denied to get that car specifically. And so I put it down, I cried, and I just didn't look at it anymore. And that was also like maybe what the third sign that the Lord was telling me, like, get ready for your car. The Lord was telling me, get ready for your car, and I was just sitting up like, I don't know, man, you know? So, and I still got blessed with it like a week later because that happened like a week before I got my car. Crazy. The Lord works in mysterious ways, literally. And then here comes July 28th, literally right before August hits. I'm in my bed, feeling tired and defeated, crying and just ready for a change. I actually had to get up and work on wigs that day, but I decided that I was going to wait a little bit and just sit in my bed because I was so tired from working on wigs the day before. And that's when I checked my email and I saw that there was an email, there was a message from Indeed about a job posting for a receptionist at a car dealership, at the Buick car dealership that's not far from here. And it was a part-time thing. And I was like, okay, you know what? The hourly pay doesn't look bad. The hour sounds good. I can still do both. I can do my business and I can do that. And so I applied and I didn't think anything else of it. I put my phone down and I just laid there more. And I was about to get up and start working. And once I started preparing myself to start working, maybe like 20, 30 minutes later, I received a call. The call was from the call was from the application that I just put in for the interview. And so I was like, they were like, hey, we received your application. Can you come in for an interview at 11? Mind you, it was 9:30. I don't have a car. I barely have money for an Uber. I was like, yes, I can, absolutely. Because mind you, I have been putting in applications left and right and not hearing anything back from anybody. So I'm just like, yeah, because I feel like I got the job at this point. And so get off the phone with him. I had just enough to Uber there. Keep that in mind. As I start getting ready, I'm crying as I'm doing my makeup because I can feel it. I can feel the shift coming. I can feel like, okay, I'm finna get a job and I'm finna get a car. And that was just the attitude that I had about it. So I ended up Ubering there, and I remember the Uber was running a little late. I'm trying to hurry up, and I'm rushing, and so what happened was it was funny because the Uber driver kind of confirmed too that I was about to at least get the job. And so I'm thinking in my mind, like, I'm finna get the job and the car. And so I'm listening to praise and worship music while I'm doing my makeup. I'm crying. I'm like, I got to get myself together because I can feel it. I can feel the shift about to happen. I'm thinking, like, it's time. And so I get up there and I go in for the interview. And shout out to KD. KD is the one who interviewed me. And I could tell that he was a man of God as well. So it's just like the Lord just constantly putting people in my path to align me to where I need to be, basically. So I get there and I do the interview. Interview goes great. I know I nailed it. I'm knowing in my mind, like, I got this job. and I need to know that I got this job before I leave here. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm looking around at the showroom because I'm in the showroom waiting for my interview. And I'm looking, I'm like, wait, this showroom looks familiar. This showroom looks exactly like the showroom that I saw in my vision 2 years ago. I was like, it's time to ask. It's time to ask about this car. I went in at least knowing that I would get the job, but I was kind of skeptical about the car because I had applied for a car just 6 months prior through Enterprise, who I was renting my cars through, and I didn't get approved. But at that same time, the Lord did clear some of my debt just randomly. So it helped my credit score go up. And my granddad in California has had a credit card with Capital One in my name for years. So he's been building my credit on the back end. Even though I've been in a season where I have not been able to pay my debt, my any of my own personal debt off myself. He still came through. The Lord still set it up to where I would be able to have at least a fair enough credit score to get approved. And whatever KD did to help me, shout out to him for that too, because I don't know what he did, but he made it happen. And I'm just so grateful that the Lord placed me there. So when I got done with the interview and I was like, you know what? The worst they can do is say you're not approved. So I asked. I was like, hey, I want to apply for a car too. And he was like, you serious? I was like, yeah. And so I did. I applied, and a part of me kind of knew I had it, but I was also just like, okay, we're just gonna see, what they say, how much the down payment is. I'm expecting the down payment to be huge. So he comes to me maybe like 15, 20 minutes later. He was like, hey, so I got good news and bad news. Which one you want? And I was like, give me the bad news first. He was like, well, your down payment is $800. And I was like, oh, that's not bad. Because I genuinely was expecting him to say like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. He said $800. I was like, that's not bad. I could probably come up with that, honestly. and and I was like, okay, so what's the good news? It didn't even register in my head at that point that I got approved. He was like, you got approved. That's the good news. I was like, oh my gosh. And so that's how it happened. I ended up signing the papers and I got the car, and she's beautiful. Her name is Ocean, and I'm just so grateful to have it. I feel like it's still settling in that this happened. So I just want to say real quick, because my camera is dying. I just want to say that if you are in a season of waiting and you really want to believe the Lord for what He has for you, just just know that He has great things in store for you. You just have to believe it and keep going. There's an appointed time for everything that the Lord has for you. Okay, sorry y'all. My camera ended up actually cutting off because the battery went dead while I was recording. But I was almost done talking anyway. I was just going to say, if you are in a season of hoping that the Lord will keep His promise, which He is not a man that He shall lie, just know that there's an appointed time for everything. So when He made this world with you in mind. He knew the beginning from the end, and what He knew what He promised to you and what He had for you, and how it was going to come to pass, when it was going to come to pass, and how He was going to orchestrate it in your life. So be encouraged that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it's not going to. And if it's not good yet, God is not done yet. So I hope this word encouraged y'all. I'm still in awe of the amazing things that God has done, and how He has been preparing me this whole time. So if you are in a preparation season, just know that you are being prepared for that suddenly moment, so you can just be able to walk right through it when it comes. And it may just be unexpected, like how mine was. But be encouraged that the Lord knows what He's doing. So thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all on the next video. Have a blessed day.